Business Connections Live, the UK's leading online business channel. This is Business Connections Live with Steve Hyland.
Hello there and welcome to Business Connections Live, the programme for entrepreneurs, SMEs and also business owners. Now on today's show we look at how to use the social media platform, a brand new one out there called Periscope, and how to use Periscope for business as well for that matter. Our guest on today's show is broadcaster and journalist Peter Stewart, who's just written the world's first book, at least that's what he claims, on how to use Periscope. So is it time for you to jump on board with Periscope? Is it the right time to build a niche for yourself and to leave your competitors snoozing? Well, Peter thinks it is. Peter, it's lovely to have you with us.
Hi, Steve. Thanks so much indeed for asking me.
Periscope, we're going to talk about obviously in a few seconds' time. But first of all, let's find out a bit about Peter Stewart. I said you're a broadcaster and journalist. Tell us a little bit about you.
So, over the last 25 years, I know I don't look old enough. I've been working for commercial and public service broadcasters in TV and in radio. And also for a while, for 3 years, I went around the country for the BBC training people how to use the professional broadcast mediums. Now, I put that in quotes because, of course, what we're talking about a little bit later on with Periscope is more kind of amateur, but you can use that in a professional way. We'll come to that a little bit later on. But about writing for TV and radio, presentation, the legal aspects, all sorts of things that I was going around, and also writing a few books to boot as well.
We've got the books here, in fact. There's a whole range of different books. So it kind of shows you the level that we're talking about here. Everything from broadcast journalism, essential radio skills, essential radio journalists, and a whole host of different books. And of course, the brand new book as well when it comes to using this brand new technology, Periscope. Now, if you're not familiar with Periscope, Peter, what is Periscope?
So Periscope is a live TV station in your pocket. If you've got a smartphone, whether it be an iPhone or an Android, essentially you've got the power to go live from here to the world with this. Anyone can watch you in the world, either on their phone or on their laptop, whether it be PC or Mac. You know what, you've got fantastic facilities here. You've got the lights, you've got the cameras, you've got the green screen and everything. But also we can do a lot of that with this. A few £100, a few $100 in your pocket, you can go live. And also you can get feedback as well from the people who are watching you right now. They can be asking you questions, you can respond, you can ask them questions, they can respond, and they can send you all sorts of different emojis and support in all sorts of other ways.
A lot of people talk about social media and they say there's a lot of noise out there. If you go onto Twitter, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people creating noise. And there is a lot of it which isn't actually of any use. Yeah. It is, and I've noticed, I was playing with Periscope over the weekend, there's a lot of noise on Periscope as well. Yeah. How do you differentiate what you're broadcasting to be of use to anybody?
Well, this is where the books and other training comes in, of course, helping you to Periscope like a pro. Yes, when Periscope first started, and it's only just over 4 months old, and I should say there are other similar services, Meerkat, Bambuza, Ustream, Stringwire, they all do similar things, but Periscope seems to be much further ahead than most of these others. The point being that when it started, a lot of people didn't quite know how to use it properly. They were showing the inside of their fridges. That was the joke. That was the test bed. Show us what's inside your fridge. But you know what? You can use it much more professionally. Of course, you can show your kid's birthday party if you want to do that. Holidaying down the beach, a donkey derby, whatever it happens to be. But also what you can do is you can show your product, you can show behind the scenes, you can explain what it is you're trying to sell. You can help people with your business, your product, your service, and try and get them on board. So it's another platform. Yes, there is quite a bit of amateur stuff, shall we say, out there that you probably don't want to look at, but there's also some really good stuff as well. And of course you want to be in that top 1-2% of people who are providing value, who are helping people, building a relationship.
How do people know that you're actually broadcasting at any particular time, Pete?
So one of the best things about Periscope is that actually you're on 2 broadcast platforms, or 2 platforms at the same time. Periscope is owned by Twitter, and that means that when you go live on your Periscope, when you start broadcasting, people who follow you on Periscope get a notification, but also people who follow you on Twitter get a notification as well.
That's interesting.
And that's the really clever thing.
I've got my phone currently connected, we're all set and ready to go. Just start broadcasting on that phone, on my one, if you can, for a moment. Stick your glasses on. This will be an experiment. So this is on the Business Connections Live account that we've got here. What are you doing right now? So we need a good title, I take it.
We do need a good title, and this is one of the key things. You've got to have a title which is going to catch people's attention.
Let's have a look at the screen that you can see on your phone. There we go. Right.
So what do you think a good title would be? It might have a hashtag in. It maybe has your Twitter @names.
Well, let's have our Twitter name there. So @BCL.
So we'll start off with a dot as well, and at BCL. Go on, business.
Business, yeah, not business. Oh. Business, yeah, let's get it right. BCL.
Yeah.
Business TV.
Business TV.
There we go. Well done.
Okay.
Yes.
So what should we put? Live.
Live right now.
In the studio.
With Peter Stewart. Yeah, well done.
Hopefully I can
spell your name.
my name right. Yeah, okay. Here's Stewart. On, shall we just say Perry for Biz, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you can see is there, you can see several things, those little icons just at the bottom. First of all, that one which is pulsating,
yes,
that shows you whether or not you want to tell people where you are broadcasting from. That can be really quite useful. Okay, so we're just outside London in England. That's quite nice. People are going to want to know where we are. If you're broadcasting from home and you're doing something on your own broadcast channel from your back bedroom, you probably don't want to have people know exactly where you are.
Is it a case of pressing that to make it start, or will that happen?
Yeah, there you go. So press that, precise location off, and when it's lit up, it is on.
All right, so everyone's going to know where we are. The next one after that looks like a lock.
That's a little padlock. Oops. So what you can do is you can just do a private broadcast.
We don't want to do that, do we?
We don't want
public.
Absolutely, we want as many people to see it. However, if you were doing a one-to-one Periscope with one of your business associates, one of your colleagues, or if you wanted to potentially ask people to pay you to have a live private Periscope with you that you could impart extra special VIP information, you could do that as well. But of course, most times you want to go live to the world, and this, of course, is what it is. What you could also do is you can ask, or you can tell the app that you only want certain people to be able to comment. Again, that's not usually very useful because, again, you want as many people to be involved as possible. And the last one there, you want your Twitter post to be on. It's a bit daft only restricting yourself to one platform when you've got the opportunity to be on 2.
And this really is the absolute fundamentals of what we're actually talking about here. So are we going to start a broadcast then? Because we'll do that because obviously we're just finding out the top level about the product at the moment, about what Periscope can do. We'll obviously talk in more details about how it can work for businesses. But let's start the broadcast then, shall we?
So it always starts with the back-facing camera, and what the first frames are is going to be the thumbnail. So it's going to be the little advertising picture that people will see. So let's not have you. No, go on. Let's have you as you're the star of the show, and it's as easy as pressing Start Broadcast, and it says down at the bottom, you are now live.
So there we are. So we're now actually broadcasting live, and this is going out to the Business Connections Live Twitter account feed, effectively. That's what we've got. So if you are just joining us right now on our Periscope feed, we hope you're going to enjoy the programme. Now, the other things that you can see on the screen down the bottom, what's this small icon that's just there.
It's difficult, isn't
Yeah,
it?
just
It's
there.
the
What's
other
that
way round.
small icon all about?
So that shows you that one person is watching. Now, don't be disheartened, because I know you only set this up at the weekend, and this is the first show I think that you're actually doing it. You're only using it in anger for the very, very first time. So don't be disheartened. And of course, you've got to start somewhere. The point is, get on board. Periscope is only for. Shall I turn it around the other way
So
around?
they can see you
me
now. They can see you while you're talking. There.
So just move the screen round, and you can flip the camera around, and then people can see the other view. So that is me. And now you can see that J8OND has just joined. So it's protocol to say hello. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. This is Peter Stewart. I'm with Steve Hyland, who's the presenter of the show, and we're live on TV and showing people how to use Periscope for business. So now you can see that various people are joining the show. It's now gone up to 4. You can advise people, if you like what you're seeing, you can double tap the screen and send us some hearts. Hi guys, says J8OND. That's really fantastic. And I can see a little bit more about them by tapping on what he's said. And I can see that's Robin Hampton-Cornforth. So Robin, thanks very much indeed for joining us. It's really appreciated. And also, if people want to share this broadcast with some of their followers, either on Twitter or on Periscope, they can do that. And of course then, it's a snowball effect, isn't it? It can increase the number of followers and viewers that you are getting.
All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to look more at how you should be able to use Periscope. That's all to come on this edition of The Pro. My guest today is Peter Stewart. Now, if you've never used Periscope before, or maybe you're brand new to the whole area of social media and how you can use social media in business, make certain that you stay tuned to us here on Business Connections Live. It's going to be a fascinating show. So get your smartphones out, whatever you've got with you there, download the application, and who knows, you could be on Periscope in just a moment. You're watching Business Connections Live. As always, it's great to have you with us, and we do have a great show lined up for you today. If you are watching live at the moment, you can actually see that Peter is doing a quick tour of the studio. You can see the different cameras that are there at the moment. We'll just have a look at the camera feed from the phone, calling it a camera feed, but there we are. This is actually what Peter is seeing on his phone, and it's what is going out on our Twitter feed. We're going to get yours set up in just a moment or so's time so we can see what you're up to as well. Business Connections Live, as always. We're live. It is a Monday. I'll tell you what we'll do right now. Let's look back on what we did on last week's edition of The Pro. We had a cracking show last week. We're looking at the whole area of sales. We were joined by Antonio Falco. It was a cracking show. If you haven't had a chance to look at the programme, let's just give you a bit of a tease on what we talked about in last week's edition of Business Connections Live. Now, on today's show, how to make sales work with Antonio Falco, a sales professional with years of expertise on how businesses can open the door to untapped sales.
I think what's changed is the different avenues there are now, as I call them, loud hailers, to get your message out there. So your initial marketing before you actually get into that sales scenario with a potential customer. Sales is about the exchange of your product or service for their money. And it's how you make that exchange. And that's why I keep saying sales is both a science and an art. I think that a lot of companies are still in the mode of thinking that provided that somebody can, inverted commas, talk the talk or have the gift of the gab. And by the way, Steve, for the past 25 years, I've not discovered what the gab is, by the way, that they are the skills required to be a salesperson. A salesperson's value is their ability to create something from nothing. So you have nothing more than the product or service that you have to offer. Now, who on earth are you going to try and sell that to? How are you going to find that potential customer? America has always taken a view that selling is a profession, as you've said. It is a serious job. It isn't something you fall into by accident, as many salespeople do. You know, it's almost like the last resort. I can't do X, I can't do Y, I'll try and do selling. I would say you need to be focused. You need to be targeted, you need to have tenacity, and you need to have the ability to understand that, as I mentioned in the first segment, that while sales is a numbers game, and the better you become the more the numbers go your way in terms of the ability to convert more customers and more business. I like to formulate 6 questions that I need the answer to in order to understand whether the person that I'm talking to is actually going to be a potential customer for me. People think that they have a bunch of benefits that somebody's going to like. And so, as I put in my new book, Stop Pitching and Start Selling, what they do is they hope to say enough of the right things that somebody might go, oh, that sounds interesting, I'd buy your product. That isn't selling. That's just what I call verbally regurgitating whatever you can remember onto somebody in the hope that something might stick. Your job is to understand which of your features actually are of benefit to that potential customer. And they could be different from customer to customer, or potential customer to potential customer. So this comes down to understanding your product or service, understanding what you need to ask in order to elicit whether or not you're talking to a potential customer. It's the old saying, Steve, one man's meat is another man's poison. It's no different in selling. One man's feature, or one company's feature, is somebody else's benefit, and vice versa. So this is what I'm talking about, the art of selling, the skill of selling, understanding what you're doing. You have to understand that you have no benefits. All you've got is a bunch of features. What you're really doing is you're getting the customer to engage with you, or the potential customer to engage with you, to engage with you during that discussion process. And that part of that engagement is them saying to you, yeah, that makes sense, no, that doesn't make sense. Well, that gives you a clue that you need to find out something else. That gives you a clue that you need to use a different tack. The only thing you ever have any control over is the amount of people you speak to. Networking, social media, and I've got a chapter on it in my new book, Social Media. It's all fantastic, but don't use it as a crutch to avoid doing the hard-nosed stuff, which is talking to people. Just a couple of key things to take away with you. 1, set yourself a target. Understand what it is you're aiming towards. Without that, you're going to be having a scattergun approach. 2, understand what you're selling. Now, you see, you think you know what you're selling, but actually sit down and think about it and write down 6 questions that you think you need the answer to before you can understand whether you're talking to a prospective customer or not. 6 questions, it takes some thought, sit down and do it. 3rd, when you're in front of a potential customer, understand what their problem is. Selling is about them, not about you. And the 4th thing, ask for the order. Because when you ask for the order, it very quickly clarifies whether or not you've done the job right, whether or not you've understood their problem, and whether or not you're really talking to a potential customer. Because strange things happen when you ask for money, and that's what you're doing when you ask for an order. Do that, read some sales books, read mine, and just get to grips with the art of selling.
Well worth watching the entire show. Antonio Falco there on last week's edition of Business Connections Live. Now, we're just about to actually kick off with one of our live streams that's going to be coming from our Periscope machine. You're watching Business Connections Live. Our guest on today's show is broadcaster and journalist Peter Stewart, who's just written the world's first book on how to use Periscope for business. Peter, now you've started a live stream on your... Are they called live streams? What are they called?
Yeah, live streams is really the generic term, but if you're going to be using Periscope particularly, then live stream or show or broadcast or a scope. I am now scoping.
You're now scoping, right?
Absolutely.
Very good.
So we've got some people piling in. Guys, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Made in Battersea has just joined. So it's obviously nice and polite to thank people for joining and saying hello to them by name as they do so.
Now, when people, when you look at the actual
sorry to
screen...
interrupt, we've just had someone from Hawaii join. There we are. Now, if that's
Aloha.
not global, absolutely. Bulldog DW as well. So wherever you are, thank you for joining
What
us.
time is it in Hawaii? It must be, what, midnight there?
Well, you know what? You can ask them. Don't ask me. So ask our friend from Hawaii what the time is in Hawaii.
So what time is it in Hawaii, and what's the weather like there? Probably it's very dark, but what's it like?
So we've got, there we are, and the answer is after 1 a.m.
Fantastic.
So what I'm demonstrating and what my friends are demonstrating here is the interaction.
Pouring rain.
Yes, of course. What you can do is you can write a blog, but you know what? Blogs are pretty boring, aren't they? TV and radio, we're kind of halfway there to Periscope with TV and radio because obviously they are live, but you're not getting the instant interaction that you are getting here. So, for example, if I said, sorry guys, you may have done this already, but tell me where you are watching this programme from, this Periscope from. We are on the outskirts of London. We're in a TV studio. I'm Peter Stewart. This is Steve Highland in front that you can see.
Nice to meet you.
So New York City and Chicago. We already know Hawaii is in the house as well. So quite a Wolverhampton. There you go. So a wide variety of places around the world. Well, anyway.
But what's
Britain
interesting
and the
about
US.
it is that we've got this interaction, this instant interaction coming up here. We've also got these hearts that are coming up on the side. So where are they coming from? Who's doing that? Are they sending just good love to us, or is it the fact that a number of people are joining it and they're saying, yes, we like what we're seeing?
Absolutely. So someone's watching while they're on their jog. How about that? Guys, demonstrate the hearts for us, if you would. There you go. So what the hearts do is, if we are giving something of value, or if people like what they're seeing, for example, you may be showing a sunset or around a TV studio, and they may be interested
studio, yes.
and want to see more about a TV studio and the auto cue and so on. This is going to be a bit weird because this is
going to see themselves.
The live stream of the of my phone on the TV, so it's kind of eating itself there. They can send those hearts, which flutter up the side of the screen to show that they appreciate, that they like what it is that they are seeing. It's encouragement. One thing, it says essentially, do a bit more of this.
Can I ask, I mean, the people that are watching this right now, if you're watching this right now and you're following this particular scope that we're doing, what kind of things are you looking for? Is it for enjoyment that you're watching this? Are you looking for information? Do you use it for different parts of your life? Or is it the fact of its uniqueness, its novelty value, that you're actually watching it right now? Just give us a bit of a feedback on that, which would be really interesting to find out why you're watching this particular stream.
Yeah, so both new business
Education.
information. Yeah, as you can see, those comments. And incidentally, yes, you can choose your front or back camera. I'm showing Steve because I'm the one kind of controlling the camera, but look, I can turn it around to me. You won't want too much of that. Let's turn it back round the other way as Steve is the host. So behind the scenes stuff, meeting new people, all sorts of things which are going on. Lots of training, lots of education, behind the scenes stuff, explanation, real time video, places that you can't normally get to, different views of things, places that you've loved to go but haven't actually been there yourself. It's like you being live in different places. And also you can direct the camera. So guys, you're watching this, I'm a bit tethered up here because I've got a microphone cable on me, but if you want me to show a certain thing in this TV studio, tell me where you'd like me to direct the camera. Do you want to read out some of these?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's saying here, is this live on air? Real people in real lives trying, I think, a good thing to catch video conferencing, show the ceiling.
Show the ceiling, okay. Well, I've got to be careful because there are some big lights up here, so that might be... So show your socks, okay, I can show you socks. Now, obviously, this is a little bit silly. However, the point being that if you did have a product and someone wanted to say, show us the other side of this product, how many jacks does this entertainment unit have in? Does the connection fit with my connection? Can you show whether I can actually fit my hand in, whatever it is? Show me around. Let me give you a fantastic example from the United States. There is a chain of car garages, forecourt garages. They're selling cars. They've got a website up there which shows all the different pictures of the cars.
Show you for a second.
Show you. That has all the different pictures of the cars, all their spec, how much it is, and so on. But also, there's a button on the bottom of each of those pages which says Periscope this car now. Someone clicks on that button when they are watching.
Just frame yourself a bit better.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
They are. I'm looking at you rather than the screen. People click on that web page that they are viewing because they want to see more of the car. A message then goes to the salesman at the garage, who goes outside with his phone and then can show the car. It can show any dents or bumps it's got, it can show the interior, can show the fascia, show how clean it is, the wear on the tyres, all sorts of things. You wouldn't have been able to have got that before the likes of Periscope and Meerkat and so on.
You're a professional broadcaster. It's what you do for a living. And you know that's what you do. So you're articulate. You know exactly how to go about constructing a show, a sell, a demonstration. You know exactly how to do that. Is that important, do you think, for somebody who is using Periscope to have a little bit of forethought before they go on? Should they jot out what they're going to show?
Absolutely.
Or is it just going to be just let it run free?
You can let it run free, but you know what? Then your mouth could run free, and you could lose sight of where it is that you're going. You and I have both been professional broadcasters for
not so much of the bean,
more years than we care. Currently,
yes.
Current. Someone's just put a message in about real estate, so about house selling. This is another great example. You could show people around a house that is up for sale. How fantastic that before you travel to see the house, you can actually direct the camera person to go round the house. You can see the size of the garden, they can see in the garage, they can see the size of the cupboards and so on. The kind of things that they wouldn't get just on a website or a piece of paper that have been posted to them. It's live, it's interactive, but yeah, make some notes, because then you know where you're going and you know when you've arrived there. If you want to do it kind of professionally, you're going to be thinking about what the content of your show is likely to be. So if you are talking about your particular product, you don't necessarily want to say everything about your product in a 10-minute scope or in a half-hour scope. Perhaps you want to break that down into a series. So
or maybe even use it as a bit of a tease as well, for that matter. By the way, if you are watching this on this particular scope broadcast at the moment, don't forget you can watch the programme live right now at businessconnectionslive.com. So you can go to the website businessconnectionslive.com and you can see the difference. Then you can actually compare what you're seeing with what you're seeing on the scope broadcast and the actual live stream. You'll find the live stream will probably be a little bit delayed, a little bit behind what you're actually seeing on the scope. Somebody's just come up there and said like a sizzle. So you're selling the sizzle, and that's giving you the opportunity to use it as a tool to do that.
Absolutely. Now, what is really important, I've talked essentially about some hard selling of a car or a house or a product. Of course, whether you know this as a salesperson, it's not all about the hard sell. The hard sell could very easily put people off. What you want to do is have a relationship with people, build up your personality, build up your authenticity, and make sure that you are giving value. You are helping them every step of the way. You are answering their questions. And then you are providing a solution to their problem at the end of the day. It is not a shopping channel on here. I think that if you used it as a shopping channel, people would turn off. We know that people are turning off shopping channels on TV at the moment, but it's much more authentic, relatable, building a relationship with people, explaining how you can help them, giving them advice, giving them help over a long period of time.
Now, people have been asking, what's the web address again? It is Business Connections Live. That's Business Connections Live. I know it's a long URL, but tap it in, businessconnectionslive.com, and that's where you'll see the actual live streamed program from the studio right now. If you are watching us on Periscope at this moment, you'll be able to see what's coming from the Periscope feed, and on your PC, your laptop or whatever, you'll be able to see the live studio feed that's going out right now. The whole idea of the show today is to show you how to use Periscope, and that's what's so important. Already, I don't know about you, but I'm blown away by just how powerful this particular app is, and of course it is connected to your Twitter account as well. So not only have we been broadcasting or going out on the Periscope where you can follow people, but also because it is owned by Twitter. I take it all your Twitter followers have been informed that you're doing a live.
Me was the fact that I could watch it at my own time. There's a hell of a lot of wealth of knowledge from other entrepreneurs. It's unedited, straight from the heart, from what people have to say. And the one thing that probably sets us apart from a lot of the other things and programs I've watched is that it's all about trying to get the best advice for the viewers. It's all made for entrepreneurs to take advice. I think it's an excellent opportunity for people to refer back to in the future. I've referred back to a number of times myself. I actually, unknowingly to Business Connections Live, have watched a number of their episodes and have taken away things for myself. I would recommend any entrepreneur looking to set up a business, growing a business, or even a CEO, to at least go through the Rolodex of 64 episodes and have a look at things that could help them. It's advice from people who have nothing to gain, no vested interest in your business, other than giving you some knowledge and experience that they've gained. So Business Connections Live, for me, I would simply say is a Rolodex of contacts to refer to in your own time to validate some of your ideas. So if you want to validate something, you want to check how other people think of things, tune into Business Connections Live.
Hello there, you're watching Business Connections Live. As always, it's great to have your company. And don't forget, just a quick reminder once again concerning the dates for the shows. 18th of September is going to be TBNS, and the 3rd and 4th of December is going to be the Great Business Show. You're watching Business Connections Live, and my guest on today's show is broadcaster and journalist Peter Stewart, who's just written the world's first book on how to use Periscope. And we're kind of inviting you to jump in there, to jump on board with Periscope while it's still brand new, and to build your niche and to leave your competitors while snoozing in your mist, in your exhaust fumes. Now, it's a bit complicated what we are doing at the moment. There are a number of things taking place at the same time. Obviously, we're using the phone. Now, the one thing that we have noticed, we've noticed it actually on our own live stream today, that we've had an issue with the live stream. It dropped momentarily. That could be because of the bandwidth that we're currently using. Now, is it a reliable source to get data out there?
It does take up an awful lot of battery power, and it does take up an awful lot of your data as well. So you've got to be really careful. If you're on Wi-Fi, obviously that's fantastic, whether you're at home or the office, or if you're outside, maybe you can get onto a Wi-Fi with your own local Wi-Fi provider, or you can pay for it, or you can go to a free restaurant or cafe or something like that. But it does use up an awful lot of battery power as well. Let's just see. So I've lost 25% of my battery since we've been running this
just
for about 25 minutes. Absolutely. Now, there are a few. Shall I show you some of the bits of kit that we've got here as well?
Indeed.
Yeah. So what you can have, if you're outside and maybe you're doing a periscope from the factory floor, or you're showing the outside of your building or your factory, or you're showing people, maybe you're doing an interview. Yeah?
Right.
Then the microphones on iPhones are good, but they're not as good relatively as the video is. We've got HD screens, of course, and HD capability for Periscope on iPhones and Android at the moment. So what I've done is, in the last few minutes, which I think maybe have upset
yes.
Our feed to the TV camera, so we can try and fix that in a few moments' time, is that I've put on an external mic, which is this one here. So guys, if you're watching on Periscope, you can see that I've got one there for the TV, that's the top one, and also an external mic for the bottom one.
Now just give me your phone over. I know this is going to be a bit cack-handed, but give me your microphone. And we'll just look at our overhead camera. Hello to everybody that's watching this on Scope. The phone actually is quite warm. We've got 14 people who are watching at the moment. If you just look here, just on the bottom we've got a plugged-in microphone, so you can do that. That's normally where you would plug the headset in, and it can also take a microphone. Here's the microphone that Peter's got, and you can actually see that we are still broadcasting from Peter's phone. You can see the messages still coming up. So that's a really good idea, to be using a microphone just like that one. Be interesting as well that if you are listening to this, it's amazing for sound, it says here. Fantastic. If you are watching this, what advice would you give? What other pieces of kit, if you are a Periscope advocate, what else would you use? What other bits of kit would you recommend that people should buy? Can you just see if we can get your phone back online to us over here?
Yeah, okay. So guys, I'm just going to clip that back on to my shirt. And
there we go. So I've just got to put this, if you're watching on Periscope, a bit of live, bit of technical production. I'm just going to see whether I can put this back on the mirroring, back onto the screen so the TV people can watch it. You know what? I don't think I can at the moment. So should we take a quick break? Should we come back?
We'll do that very shortly.
Yeah.
We'll do that very shortly. Tell me about when it comes to getting people. Now, for instance, when we tried ours, of course, people aren't expecting us. Is it something that you have to educate your viewers over a period of time, so that, or your Twitter followers over a period of time, so they realise that you are doing this?
Well, look, it's really new. It's only been out about just coming up for 5 months now, so it is quite new. People who are using it amount to about 10 million in the world, or at least 10 million people who've downloaded the app and have signed up for it, but not necessarily using it on a regular basis. Yeah, there's still an awful lot of education, if you like. Don't get me wrong. You can just use it to show the inside of your fridge, your walk to work, yourself having breakfast or something like that.
But is this the danger, though, with all social media? I mean, we're not really talking about Twitter, but there are a lot of people that will use Twitter to say, I'm going out for a walk, I'm walking my dog. But you know, that kind of means that you can't really use it in a professional way for your business, can you?
Lindsay has said, you guys look so serious, don't forget to smile.
Sorry. There we go. You're smiling.
Lindsay.
Thank you, Lindsay. I shall remember that. But it is true, though, isn't it? Because Twitter, there's a lot of noise on Twitter. Do you think we're going to end up with a lot of noise on Periscope and we won't be able to cut through the noise?
There is a lot of noise. What you can do is you can watch out for your... Well, there are various ways to filter out the noise. First of all, it's who you are following that you're going to be notified about on Twitter and on Periscope as well. OK? So you're not going to be someone who is continually showing you them eating breakfast. Are you?
No.
Probably not, OK?
No.
If you want to take it seriously for business, you're going to be following other people who are also involved in a similar or associated business or social media, yeah? Number one. Number two, you're watching out for the titles which link in with what you want to know about. So if someone says, well, let's see whether we can, we'll do it a bit later on when we've got the airplay back through the TV, but we can look and see some of the other titles that people are scoping about at the moment. And frankly, if someone says, I'm bored, or watching TV, or at the mall, mal, you're probably not going to be interested if you want to know about how to use Periscope to sell your widget, or how you want to learn how to do Facebook ads, or how you want to learn how to perfect your golf swing. You're not going to be looking at those, are you?
Well,
and also there's the map feature as well. So the map, you can get in, you can outward pinch to find out who is periscoping live near you right at the moment. That is fantastic for several reasons. First of all, A, because it's interesting. Oh, and by the way, it's not just people who are by you, it could be the other side of the world. B, if you know of something newsworthy that is happening in New York or Melbourne or Beijing or Paris right at the moment, you can zoom in there and see what periscopers are scoping about. But also for business, if you have got a local business that is only for local things, so for example, a bakery, you ain't going to be selling many loaves of bread if you're based in London to someone who is in Chicago. Let's be totally honest. However, if you are doing scope, say, behind the scenes at your bakery, have the location feature on that we talked about a little bit earlier on, yeah? And then people will be able to use the map to find out exactly where you are. They can watch you bake the bread. Half an hour later, they're queuing up outside the bakery, buying it fresh from the oven.
It's a lovely idea. Have there been examples of that truly happening, or is that just where we see the potential of Periscope going?
There have been some fantastic examples of people using this really innovatively, from London Zoo to police stopping drivers. I was reading about at the weekend in the US, stopping drivers who were speeding on a stretch of road and periscoping them as they stopped them. That kind of law enforcement and education there. Talking about education, it's been working in schools behind the scenes. Let's flip it back to me for a moment.
There we go.
Schools behind the scenes, so you can do a show and tell. You can see what other people are being taught in other classrooms around the world. You can link in with business. You can be swapping ideas. It's education, it's training. Show people behind the scenes, interviewing other people, maybe in your place of work, or maybe, what about this, associated businesses. Off the top of my head, say you're a brewing company.
Righto.
Okay? You've told, your face is lit up now. Now you're smiling.
That sounds
Okay.
interesting.
So, you've shown people behind the scenes at the brewery about what to do with the hops, about the fermenting process. It goes into barrels, and then you've shown them those barrels being loaded onto the trucks for delivery. And it stops there? Not necessarily. Why not link in with the other companies that are providing you with the hops, for example, and those associated trades? Why not link in and show the final journey, the pubs they're going to, the distribution process, tell the whole story? You know what, if you're telling people about the journey, about the story, your product in that kind of soft sell way, then people are going to be much more interested in buying the product than if you just came on and said, this is a fantastic pint of beer, you've got to buy this.
Now, we use different mediums to actually get our program out there. So there's a lot out there. There's the likes of YouTube that are out there. There's Vimeo that's out there. And that's where our program will reside. There's iTunes, there's Roku, there's places like that. With this, though, you say it sits there for 24 hours, then it drops off the edge of a cliff. So I want to actually put it up on YouTube. Can I do that?
Absolutely, you can do that. You save it to your camera roll, and also if you've got YouTube on your phone as well, it's just a couple of taps before you've uploaded that to your own YouTube channel. If you've got iMovies on your phone, you can top and tail it, you can take out the bit of waffle, you can take out the bit where you made a mistake or something like that, tidy it all up, put a graphic at the beginning and end, and suddenly you've got yourself a little video. You can use it on catch.me, KATC.me. It will automatically save all of your broadcasts there. From there, you can download and you can embed onto your own website or onto your Facebook channel.
Now, there is an issue that I've got, and I'm sure that the broadcasters have got. What we're looking at when we're looking at Periscope, it seems to be this vertical kind of picture, the normal.
Yeah.
Everybody says, you know, they pick their phone up and they take pictures like that. What about the standard 16:9?
Okay, so I can see that you're a TV broadcaster, and you know what? I'm going to be turning this round the other way. Now, is there a problem with that? Guys, do you want to put some comments in?
Oh, crikey, that works.
So now you've got a problem, haven't you? You see a fantastic picture, but you can't actually read the comments.
No.
Which is a bit of a problem. And of course, people are more likely to be holding their phone that way than that way, aren't they?
All right, now what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and get this feedback so that you can actually see what's coming up. We're going to be talking a little bit more about how Periscope can work for you if you are a business. What's been nice about today's program, in fact, it's a bit of a, we've kind of steered away a little bit from what we normally talk about, where it's core business, because I can see that from a social point of view, Periscope is a very powerful tool. But think about it from your business's point of view, how to use Periscope for your business to get your message out there, to introduce maybe your product or your service or whatever that you are doing right now out to your potential customers. And remember, these potential customers could already be following you on Twitter. It's a wonderful multimedia experience that people can now get involved with you on when it comes to using Periscope. We'll tell you more about how you could be using Periscope for your business. We're also going to get a bit of a recap on what we've learned on this particular program in just a few moments' time right here on Business Connections Live. So then, Business Connections still sending out conventional newsletters to customers.
Do you just want a more engaging way to talk to your customers and employees?
Hello, I'm Steve Hyland.
And I'm Linda Bazant of Business Connections Live.
Your Brand TV is a completely branded television show that can be streamed live or delivered on demand to your niche audience. Be the first in your market to capitalise on the online media gold rush that is using online video to effectively deliver news, information and education to key personnel and clients.
Video attracts 2 to 3 times as many monthly visitors. It doubles their time spent on your site and has a 150% increase in organic traffic from search engines. Large networking organisations are already utilising the power of Your Brand TV to market, promote and publicise to their members and groups across the UK.
Your programme will be branded with your corporate colours and logos in your own broadcast quality network studio.
You can choose the format. It can be news or magazine or interview in its look and feel.
You can have live guests on your show, or you can Skype them in.
You can stream the show live or on demand, so it's available for catch-up.
This is a chance to deliver your message in a new exciting format that will allow your business to cut through the noise and stand out from the crowd and engage your workforce and customers. This is Your Brand TV.
To get more information on this fabulous opportunity to bring to life your corporate communications, contact us today at Business Connections Live, the UK's leading online business channel.
And don't forget, if you'd like to have a programme just like this one, if you found it really enjoyable today, maybe you've got a service or a programme or maybe a product that you'd like to actually promote and to show off, then you can come on the show, or you can come on a show that's specifically yours. The idea, of course, being that you can turn readers into viewers. If you're sending out newsletters at the moment and you're thinking to yourself, do you know what? Newsletters are so yesterday. Everybody and their mother-in-law sends out newsletters. What you can do right now is you can have a TV programme that's exactly yours. It can be logoed, it can be imaged to be right with your brand style, your brand colours. So if you want more details, simply get in touch with us here at Business Connections Live. You can contact us by email, of course, at studio@businessconnectionslive.com. You can also telephone us too on 01784 256 777, and if you want to follow us on Twitter, then please do follow us at BCL Business TV. Once again, the email address, just in case you missed it there, it is studio@businessconnectionslive.com. It's great to have you with us. You're watching Business Connections Live. My guest on today's show is broadcaster and journalist Peter Stewart, who's just written the world's first book on how to use Periscope for business. What we're suggesting is that you jump in on board right now at Periscope because it's still so new. There aren't many businesses out there that are using it professionally to actually get out to their niche market. Well, here's an opportunity for you to do exactly that. But how do you start? And that's what we've been talking about today. We are back broadcasting again. We had, how many people were watching the last short segment that we had earlier on?
So we had over 300 people that piled in at some point or another during that last, well, it must have been about 20 minutes or so, wasn't it? That
yes,
we were
indeed.
Periscoping. So if you just think of the value of that.
That's fantastic.
That's more than 300 pairs of eyes, people that are interested and hopefully engaged with what it is that you are talking about. Now, ours is a little bit different from what you may be using it for business in the future, but it just shows you the kind of power that this has, and yeah, things are just going to get better and better.
So there we are. It's interesting what's coming up there. Love Periscope. Heavy Smoker Marge has just joined us. Thank you very much indeed, Marge, for joining us. It is what I love about it is the interactive nature of what we're seeing here. And you've already said that what we can do with this actual broadcast, so we can save it later, we can put it up, we can use it as content on our YouTube channel, we can use it on our website as well. What about getting people to follow you? I mean, how have you gone about doing that? How many people have you got in your Twitter circle then?
You know what? So what you can also do is we can block a user. So someone has just said something rude, so I'm going to block them. They will never appear again in our Periscopes. So,
I missed that.
Yeah, fortunately,
I'll have to watch back on the programme.
Hopefully that bit wasn't on the TV bit as well.
We don't think it was. I think we got away with that. So you can block people. I didn't know that is one issue that you've got, particularly when you're doing things live, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, in the same way as you might moderate your blog post and make sure that any comments there are appropriate to go on it, it's the same way you can block people on Twitter. then you can also block people on Periscope as well. So if you have maybe a competitor or just some 13-year-old boy or girl in their back bedroom wanting to cause a little bit of mischief, someone thinks it's funny. Yeah, and you know what? That comment was mild. It was about a bit of male bodily part, shall we say. That is mild. You can get some people who, are rather abusive, and certainly if you're an attractive female on Periscope, that is a particular problem. And also, it does stand to reason that you're not actually going to be showing things like, hey, this is my 5-year-old child in the paddling pool. You may want to think twice before doing that kind of scope.
But the trouble is, of course, a lot of people will now actually share quite a lot about themselves on social media. Facebook, of course, is one area where a lot of people are doing that. Even on Twitter, people are kind of giving a lot of information about themselves. Is there a danger that that could happen with Twitter long term?
There is, and
or with Periscope.
What they have done already is they have put in a few things. It is easier to block people than it was when it started 4 or 5 months ago, and also they have reduced the map facility, so it doesn't quite show exactly where you are broadcasting from on the map, and also you can turn that off as well. You can also do private scopes and so on, and also only limit the comments to the people who you actually know and want to welcome to your scope as well.
I mean, it seems a very, very powerful tool to actually have, not only personally, but to have in business too. What about the book? What does your book that you've got actually show to people?
So the book is
You've got the book there, you can actually show us the
absolutely.
book.
Well, it's an e-book, which is why this copy is just printed out. It's called Up Your Periscope, which I know people who are following me on Periscope are probably well aware of. It's called Up Your Periscope, and it is the world's first book on how to use this app, how to turn it on, how to set it up. It's about follows and shares and hearts and comments, how to block people, but more specifically about what to do in your show. So it could be, or it does include sections on how long should your show be? When should you be having your show? What can you scope about? It's got pages and pages of lots of ideas and links about what other people have done really successfully, about how you could, obviously it can't tell everyone what to put in their shows, but it's the idea about watching, about learning, about mixing and merging what people have done successfully so far with what your business or product or service is. So if you want to extend your own personal brand or your business brand, then get on, steal these ideas that people have used in the past already and merge them with what you are doing and create something completely different.
It seems fascinating. It seems a very worthwhile way of actually moving forward and using the technology for that matter. I don't know about you, but it's been really... What I love about what we've seen today is the interactive nature of what Periscope can actually give you. The fact that on one of our earlier scopes that we did today, there was something like 250 people at some stage had jumped in and jumped out. Here on this particular one, okay, we've got 19 people who are watching right now. And the comments are still coming in, and I think it's from the likes of the comments that are coming in that would allow you to actually judge what your audience is looking for, and also the fact that if you were demonstrating something that they can actually guide the demonstration. It does become a true proper sales demo, doesn't it?
It's building a relationship, it's giving added value. Before we came on air, I was saying to you, this is what you could do. When you've got your next business expert in, you could talk to them before the TV show, before the web show, before the cable show. You could talk to them on Periscope. Then do your show afterwards. When people have watched the show, they can interact directly with your expert and ask them questions. They can be answering those questions in real time. What about that for fantastic added value for them and for Business Connections Live TV?
Now, when you're looking at this, you are tied though to your phone. Are there apps out there that allow you to maybe to do the same thing that you're doing from your phone, but do it maybe from your laptop? Can you do that?
Well, yes, but you are rather missing out. You can't have Periscope from your laptop. You can view Periscope on your laptop, but then if you're going to be tied to your laptop, then essentially you're just doing a Google Hangout or a Skype, aren't you?
Good point.
So the point about Periscope is that you are taking it out and about. Okay, I know we've had a couple of people say, show something different. Well, you know what? I'm actually kind of tied to the desk with my microphone and I can't move around very much apart from show you the the TV cameras and the auto cue and the monitor and so on. But the idea is that you can show people the factory floor. You can walk around your office. You can interview other people.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to just unplug that microphone.
Okay.
And I don't know whether this will work or not, but we're experimenting now. I'm going to take your actual microphone off you there like that.
That's the TV microphone.
And I'm going to say if you can go into our gallery just to show the background. Now this may or may not work, we don't know. And hello there to Nikki Creel who's just joined us as well. Now already have we lost it? Yeah, we've kind of lost it already. Oh, hang on, it's still working, we're still there.
Okay, so
all right, this is a bit of an experiment to see if this works.
This is, I'm going to show you the gallery, the offices. It's just going a little
Yeah,
bit
he's
down.
going that way. He's through the door. Yep, he's going to come into, so through the airlock, out into our reception area that is there. There's Linda. So into the gallery. Yeah, still everything's going well. And there we are. So that's, we're in the gallery right now, as you can see. So there's our prompter. There's Gordon, who's pressing all the buttons behind the scenes as we're actually doing this. And there you go. There's the man who's controlling the buttons and all the knobs and all the rest of it. And there I am. I shall wave out of the studio through the glass right now. I mean, this goes to show you the power of what Periscope can do. Now, we're showing what we can do within our broadcast environment, but imagine what you could be doing for your business. Imagine how you could show people maybe the manufacturing process, the different things that you do to actually get a product to market. Maybe if you want to share meetings, maybe if you want to have client meetings, you can use Periscope to do all of that. It really is a very, very powerful way to promote and to market your business. Once again, look at this. Well, actually watching this in Chicago at the moment. There you go. You can see inside of our Business Connections Live gallery. Maybe we should set a camera up there on a permanent basis. Don't forget, if you want to follow Business Connections Live, just follow us on BCL Business TV. That's BCL Business TV. We're going to be doing more of these Periscope casts, or scopes as they're called. Peter, if you want to come back in the studio, that'd be fantastic, because what we need is a bit of a recap really on the entire program. There you are, back through our airlock, and you'll see Peter coming back into the studio right now. Very bright as he comes in, the camera just adjusting his head. Thanks for the comments, by the way, that are coming up. Very cool, I like that one. Excellent, yeah, we think so too. Right, just come back over. I've only got 2 minutes left on the show, Pete, so I'll hold the camera. Microphone's back on you. And if I take you straight down camera number 1, what are the key things that people need to remember when it comes to Periscope?
So what you've got to remember, first of all, is that it's a broadcast TV station in your pocket, number 1. 2, it's really, really easy to use. You can get 274 pages like this and you can dig down a little bit deeper. But you can use some basic things like a tripod or the external mic, which we showed you a little bit earlier on. Plan your scopes so you know what you're saying, how long it is going to be. Don't forget the value that you're on 2 platforms, 2 social media platforms at exactly the same time. You're on Periscope, but also the power of Periscope is that you're also on Twitter as well, so you're doubling your potential exposure. Don't forget about relationship building. We haven't quite done it on the scopes we've been doing because we're in a slightly different environment, but welcoming people, saying hello to them, using their name, asking questions and getting them to respond, and them asking you questions and you responding as well. It's about the added value that it can give. It's about Stop me when you've heard too much. I could go on for a long time. It's about all the extra added value. It's behind the scenes. It's maybe interviewing other people. It's showing things that people don't normally get to see when they're using or following you on other platforms.
Well, listen, Peter, it's been an absolute insight. I'll just give you your phone back again. It's been an absolute insight into using Periscope. Hope you've enjoyed it today. Hope you've had a bit of an insight into what Periscope can offer you when it comes to being maybe a user of Periscope. It's a great opportunity. Listen, hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget, do join us again in the future. But from Peter Stewart and myself, Steve Hunter, thank you very much indeed for watching us today. It's been an absolutely incredible show. We've loved every moment of it. Some of our audience have now left us on the local TV channels. So here we are. We've got a few moments just to finally do a bit of a wrap, really, on what this is all about. It's been an absolutely incredible experience. Can I just thank all the people who have been scoping us, have been sending messages,
following us and
following us.
Absolutely, viewing.
You were saying there that really one of the things that is really important about all of this is creating ongoing relationships. If somebody does follow this, how can I go back? Can I interact more? Can it be two-way nearly?
Absolutely. So what you can do is, if you watch the scope again, and you've, as the broadcaster, or indeed anyone can watch it within 24 hours, you can see the people who've made a comment, and you can then follow them. You can interact with them directly. Okay. If you go to catch.me and you've uploaded all of your
catch.me.
So that is KATCH.me, and you've subscribed to that. It's free. It'll upload all of your scopes automatically. What you can do then is go back. You can fast forward. You can rewind. Two things which you can't do on a Periscope itself, but also really, really fantastically, you can see all of the comments down the right-hand side. With one click on a mouse, you can be taken and see exactly who that is, and you can build a stronger relationship with them on Twitter. You can respond to their comments. You can thank them for watching. You can apologise for not answering their question during the live Periscope. There is so much value to this that it's really easy to set up. Your grandmother can do it. You can do it in 3 minutes, but if you want to scope like a pro and dig down, you know, potentially you can build stronger, better relationships, get more followers, viewers, hearts, and hopefully sales as well. And, you know, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
And you actually saw my microphone be pulled off there as I was moving about the chair. I tell you what, this has been a real insight. Now, tell us a little bit about the book very quickly. How much is the book? Where can we get it from?
Okay, well, the book is an e-book. It's called, let me show you again. It is called Up Your Periscope. It's all you need to know to scope like a pro. It's an e-book. I've printed it out here, 274 pages. Obviously, if it's an e-book, you don't have to do that. You can just read it on your own device, and you can get it at upyourperiscope.guru. You're laughing at that name, aren't you?
I think it's a great name. So that's upyourperiscope.guru.
Okay.
No, there it is, yes.
Now, as a special offer for you give me some parameters. I'll reset the price specifically for Business Connections live viewers, and I'll do you a special price for that book.
And what we'll do, we'll put that special code for that. Is that going to be a code, is it?
You know what? Anyone that's watching this Periscope will be able to get it at the special price as well. Or if you're watching TV or on Periscope, I'll reset it. I'll give a special deal, till the end of August?
Yeah, for a week. Yeah,
for a week?
Good.
Or till the end of September?
Till the end of September.
Till the end of September. That's the deal. Okay? I'll shake your hand on that.
There we go.
Okay.
Deal's done.
Special
so upyourperiscope.guru is, and the actual address came up there. Listen, if you want to get hold of that book, special price on that one as well. You can find all these links just below the page on businessconnectionslive.com. Do check out the programme. You can watch it all again. Okay, that practically wraps the show up. Let's have a look at who we've got coming up in the very near future on the programme. We've got Steve Mills, the Prudent Marketeer. He's going to be on the show very shortly. Brad Burton, Gary Turner of Xero, going to be talking about TBNS in the next couple of weeks. Steve Nichols is going to be talking about tech, and Ian Dixon is going to be looking at the keys to business success. Don't forget as well, we've got RBS BizCrowd. They're going to be on the show in the future. We've also got Benjamin Dennehy. He's a Sandler training and motivational speaker, and Vanessa Lanham Day is going to be with us as well, and she's going to be talking about Facebook advertising. Do you know what? That wraps up the day. It's been a very different show for us today, actually, but from myself, Steve Hyland, and from broadcaster and journalist Peter Stewart, and to all our watchers on Periscope, thank you very much indeed. Till we do it all again live next Monday, have a great week. From all of us here, bye for now. Bye-bye.